Joby, Joby, Joby,
Joby,
Joby.
Joby, I'm
There's a
begging
start of
of
the
you,
podcast
please
sorted.
don't leave Sunderland. Hello and welcome back to the What the Falk Sunderland review show. It's another win. Gerrin, Big Jobe and the boys ensured Wayne Rooney and the Blues toddled off back to the Midlands with tails between their legs as the lads won 3-1 against Birmingham City to rack up back-to-back wins at home. I'm very tired, a little bit drunk, and obviously, most importantly, very happy. I can't wait to chat, actually. And to join me is, first and foremost, Dave Lawrence. Dave, how are you, mate? Oh, no, it's the wrong time to say hello to
Sorry, I
Dave.
was, I was, I was sending a message and I keep forgetting it goes off the screen, and I've got to get myself off mute. But yeah, all good. Yeah, very, very, very happy. We won. The Mags got beat. Happy days.
Your face of panic there, trying to turn it back on. Brilliant. Ross saved the show before it dies on its horse already. How are you doing? You all right?
I am good. Another enjoyable afternoon at the stadium of light. Well, dinner time. 12:30 kick-offs are shit, man, aren't they? For like when you're getting there and that, it's like a proper chore in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's a good job we won, because I think if we didn't win, I'd be really miserable right now, like just for how shit early kick-offs are. And again, I want to rant because the early kick-off on New Year's Day is a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's
But
wrong.
why? Ridiculous. But yeah, overall, really happy with the performance. Few sticky points, which I'm sure we'll get onto, but 3 goals, 3 points. Toodaloo.
Yeah, happy with that. I think before we begin, obviously, we're all really happy, but we just want to start by dedicating the episode to someone who's obviously really close to the podcast. You'll notice that Brad isn't with us this week. So we just wanted to dedicate the episode to his granddad, Dennis, who sadly passed away after 94 years of supporting Sunderland, red and white through and through. I think it's quite obvious to say I think that win was for him, and obviously it's for Brad as well as all of us. But you know, this episode's for him also, and we just want to send all of our love, best wishes, and whatnot to Brad as well, and hope that the win put a smile on his whole family's face. But Ross, you know, you said before, really good win. Super duper happy with the win today, to be honest with you, especially when I was absolutely shattered and got up way too early and fell asleep way too late. But 3-1 win, which is about just after 9 o'clock on the Saturday, if you're listening to this. But how are you feeling in the aftermath? Really good?
Yeah, really happy with it. Really just went out the ground, like really content, and I enjoyed some majority of our play. We played attacking wise today, we were fantastic. And on another day, we win that 5 or 6-0 quite comfortably. Individual performance wise as well, there was some that I weren't expecting, like off the bench, and those who started who really stood out for us. And it just proved that like the collective's starting to get there with other people chipping in with assists and goals. That's what we want. We wanted impacts off the bench. We got that today. But also, it was just an enjoyable day. I think at the match where even though we went in at 1-1 at half time, we were just all talking. We were like, look at the chances we even had there. Like, it's so frustrating at the same time. Like, let's be honest, if we hadn't won, we would have been fuming with the chances we missed. That's got to be addressed, I think, because some of them were sitters. Some of them were also very unlucky, and I think Rooney pulled off a good few saves. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, we were very we were content with our performance. Our attacking intent was there. It was brilliant. And again, once we, I think our problem today was when we moved the ball slowly, and we did it lands like side to side rather than going forward and being a bit more direct. That was when we became unstuck. We brought the problems on ourselves, I think, today. But when we were at it, we were moving the ball fluently. We were playing through the thirds. We were the wingers were brilliant, getting out the fullbacks. The fullbacks were bombing on. I just really enjoyed our attacking play today, and it's nice to see that after our worries after the Swansea game, we were like, oh, can we score? And it was like today we could have like 6 or 7 quite easily.
Yeah, I think the fact that we scored 3 and we're still going, I said, and we'll get on with the start of the game, but I felt like our first sort of 20 minutes, we could have been 3 or 4 now up, like easy, and it would have been deserved as well. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speak about him too much because obviously he's trying to salvage. I don't know if he's trying to salvage his job, but he's trying to polish a turd, I think. But Wayne Rooney talking as if like they were anywhere near that game, nah, not for me. Any chance they had was our own mistakes. It wasn't due to their like alleged high energy pressing. I would be genuinely quite worried if I was a Birmingham fan watching their performance in his post match today. But I don't care. Like Wayne Rooney's not my manager, couldn't care less. Dave, happy days, mate. We pulled apart that 0-0 last week, and I think you sometimes go, oh God, is that because we need a striker? And look, some of the chances we missed today, you do sometimes feel a striker would have been handy to have, but we've scored 6 goals in our last 2 home games. When you do that 0-0 against 10-man Swansea, you sometimes can look at it and go, it just was one of them actually. It wasn't anything to be too worried about. But happy all in all, Dave, aye?
Yeah, definitely. We always try to be balanced, don't we? And that's the type of people we are. You suddenly look at 4 points from the last 6. It looks very good. There's not a problem with that whatsoever. Is that it's sticking to the 2 points a game average, and dare I say, we've flipped a little bit. We've reversed it at home, where we're looking very dangerous. We're looking like we're going to score a load, and away from home, we're just looking a little bit more tentative, or maybe he's a bit more unlucky as well. But yeah, in general, very happy. Nice to see Jobe get on the score sheet. Probably written in the stars today, wasn't it? Let's be honest about it. Yeah, to have a brand new centre half pairing completely proved us all wrong, and proved why we're not managers of Sunderland, because he went with a back centre pairing and instead of a back 3. And yeah, fair play to him for trusting the boys to do that. I think the caption on Sky Sports before was between the two of them. They played 20 minutes of first team football this season. Fair play to them. And be honest, Jay Stansfield's a handful. He's not a bad footballer, to be honest. So that was a decent little a baptism of fire for the pair of them. And yeah, apart from the goal, that's the great thing about Stansfield. We mentioned it last week, and he loves chasing down defenders. He loves putting himself about a little bit, and that's where they got the goal from, to be fair. But other than that, yeah, comfortable. I think it's the exact word to use on it. Very comfortable, very enjoyable. And if we'd have scored 6 or 7, I don't think you could have argued against it, if I'm honest.
No, I don't think so. And you touched on the 2 centre halves there. Obviously, we're going to get into that as well, because there was a few players that we've seen for the first time properly today. And I think I'm sure we're going to do listeners' questions. Well, there was a question on Dennis Serkin's fitness, but obviously the plan was to play Hume today alongside Jensen, and then Serkin pulls up with his hamstring allegedly, and 10 minutes before the kickoff. And not only is it a new centre half pair, and it's an unexpected one, because they probably trained with Hume at centre half and thought, just bring one of them in, so it's not like a baptism of fire. But we had no choice, like you say, Dave. It is a baptism of fire against one of the, can we say, informed strikers for Stansfield. He scored, I think, twice last week. So, and look, I know we got an assist and stuff like that, but I thought we'll dig further into it. But I thought it did pretty well. Those first 20 minutes, Ross, I just thought we were really good. There was one point, and I'm literally talking about the first 20 minutes because I know it went a bit skew-iff after we scored, but I said I think it's the best we performed all season. That 20-minute segment at the start, I just felt we looked brilliant. Probably back to the best we saw that we produced last year, and for me, definitely the best we produced this year. How impressed with you with the way we started? Not just this week, but last week as well. We started really well against Swansea. Just obviously the result was different.
Delighted. It's showing that intensity, positivity going forward. When we can zip the ball around in areas, we really got at them, and I think it unsettled their back line quite a lot. Russian, again, was fantastic today. He did everything but score. I thought, actually, when we took him off, we lost our way a bit until we brought Mayenda on, who I'm sure we'll get on to. But yeah, him and Roberts had a great game today, I thought. He was really good, and he got kicked at absolute bits as well. It was ridiculous, but Yeah, everything just seemed to click the first 20 minutes. Like I say, when we move the ball with intent, with purpose, and we don't just dawdle on it, which we know we are very, very capable of, which we've seen unfortunately with a Equaliser. But yeah, that 20-minute spell, it was brilliant, and the crowd, it really got the crowd up as well. I thought sometimes, I know I mentioned myself whinging about the early kickoffs, but you can get a bit of a hum, can't you, for the 12:30 kickoffs? But that start and that intensity is what gets the stadium alight behind the team. And yeah, it was really good. And I was pleased for Jobe getting his goal with a Russian assist. So yeah, really good, really positive. And more starts like that, please, because I thought against Norwich we started off really well too, but then we got sucker punch. But getting that early goal was massive. Again, we conceded, but on another day, it's like a Southampton where you're 2 or 3-0 up and you're like, right, game's over. So just sort that finishing out with the chances we had. Russians was so unlucky. If that goes in, it's a fantastic goal. Jobe, again, he's got to bury that second one. I don't know if that's in that spell, but he was in the right place at the right time from the corner. And this time it went below the roof of the net rather than over it like Ipswich. So, but yeah, brilliant. And that's got to be now the standard we set for how we start games at home for me going forward.
I think, as you said before, we got pegged back against Norwich and we conceded against Birmingham today and got pegged back again. Actually, sorry, we went behind against Norwich and got pegged back today. I think what the difference is, though, with games like that, when you've dominated as well as you have for the first sort of 20-odd minutes, the crowd knows, even if they've conceded, they go, look, we've got the beating of these, just sort it out, lads, like sort out the slack passing, like fix the defence a bit and we'll batter these. And that kind of subconscious confidence comes out. And I always felt like today, like I thought, we just need to score another one here. And it wasn't a case of, are we good enough to beat these? And it was the same with Norwich. It was a case of like, how quick can we score and how many can we get? And we've scored 6 in the last 2. So I'm buzzing. But one man who did get a goal today, Dave, Ross just touched on him just there, was Jobe. Look, I went and bottled it today. I don't think I've got a name and number on the back of my shirt for ages, but Jobe is a man deserving of it. I got a Jobe 7 shirt today. So 40 years of age, and I got a kid nearly 20 years younger than me in the back of my shirt. But, it's my choice. It's up to me. But I was delighted with his performance today, and I honestly really rate him really highly on a serious note. I think he's proven to be a real big player. I think there's times when he looks like he could have a rest, and then the week after he comes back and he has a fantastic game. I thought he was really good again today, and I think for his age and his inexperience he's had at this level, I think he's proven to be massive for us. But good for him to get a goal, I think, today, because it's been a little while since he's notched, Dave. And how pleased were you to see him to bag, and how inevitable was it, I suppose, that would come against Birmingham?
Yeah, definitely an air of inevitability about it. It is. We've said for quite a while about certain players over the years that we've had. You've got to allow for their age and what they haven't done before and what they're going to do. And once he turns that game today into 5 games in a row, Jesus, what a talent. What a talent. And there's nothing to say that he won't go and do that. But then once he starts putting it together for 75% of a season, you've got to remember the kid's, 18? Just turned 18, is he? It's scary. I mean, them Bellingham boys, wow, unbelievable. I saw an interview with his old man the other day, I think. And
what is his look? I don't want to bring the content of the show down, but what has his old man got in his testes? Jeez, like, because he's producing genuine talents like that I've never seen before. A, at my club, and B, at arguably the biggest club in the world. So fair play, Mr. Bellingham. I'm very impressed.
But by all means as well, quite a handy semi-professional footballer himself, from what I've read. But yeah, I think the thing that I get from them most is they seem to be so level-headed and they want to learn, the pair of them, so much. It's scary to think where their ceiling could be between the pair of them, and especially for us, for Jobe. I think it's brilliant. He got that goal. He's probably kicking himself that he didn't get that second one. Yeah, maybe he's just starting to form that little bit of a partnership with Royson as well. It just looks good, doesn't it? I mean, Clark one side, Paddy was a little bit back to normal today. Good old Patrick, and you know, you're talking about that first 20 minutes. Was it Huggins who missed the sitter in the first?
Oh, it was Huggins. I forgot about that one.
Literally 7 yards out, 8 yards out.
Yeah.
He's got to score. Probably lucky for Birmingham that we didn't score, because that could have been, well, I mean, we're still saying it could have been 6 or 7, could have been 43, and Jobe with 27 of them. We don't exaggerate here on what the fuck at all.
No. Not our style.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. It's wonderful seeing people like that just excel. And what a turnaround. In recent years, what a turnaround that we've become a breeding ground for people like him. Ahmad, we miss you. Come back in January. Yeah, phenomenal. Just really enjoy it. Performances like that are just a joy, and I don't think I've got much negative to say, really.
No, absolutely. I think, I really like that Jobe's here with us. I know there's always going to be the links to his brother, and we've already touched on it, and I know it's going to be hard for him to get away from it. And his brother's a phenomenal talent, but like, I see a Premier League footballer in every way, shape, size, and form with Jobe. He's got the size, the stature, the talent. He just needs the experience, and I really hope it's with us, because I think if he continues to progress the way he does, I think him alongside another few players will struggle to hold on to. But the good news is, I think a lot of people are looking at Sunderland, and when they're watching games like that day, they'll be like, bloody hell, there's a bunch of 18-year-old kids on the pitch. They're absolutely torturing what should be a decent Wayne Rooney Birmingham side. I know they're a bit average, but it must look good when you watch Sunderland at the minute. We must look like a club that's worthy to come to improve your game and stuff like that, because pretty much everyone that we seem to bring in seems to have at least something about them, give or take, 1 or 2 players, which I won't touch on, but 2 players that did come in today, Ross. We touched on them a little bit already, but Nectar Triantis and Jensen Seelt. I don't think we expected to see both of them. I think we thought we'd see Jensen Seelt and maybe Triantis would be on the bench. That was the original plan. Serkin's injured. They're both thrown in at the deep end. Triantis got a goal, in my opinion. I know they're giving it to Sanderson, which is kind of funny, but I'd give it to Triantis. I quite like Dion Sanderson. But what did you make of the performances? I thought Seelt in particular was really good.
Yeah, I thought Seelt was the better of the two. But to be fair, with the experience he has, and I think that is well known within the club, that Seelt's probably a bit ahead of Triantis at this time. As we say, Triantis wasn't going to start. So I think you can kind of like give him a bit of slack when he was a bit nervy, I think. Out of the two, I think he was a bit, I don't know how to say it. He just looked like a person who wasn't expected to play his first big game in front of 40,000 people. It really is getting chucked in the deep end. The goal we conceded, there probably is more that can do. They've got to be tighter together. I think there's too much of a gap between the two. But also, to me, everything that was bad about today was probably from our defensive side, midfield wise, and losing possession in silly areas. So they were really, really, for me, put under pressure quite a lot by our own mistakes. Second half, I thought they both grew into it brilliantly. I thought second half they looked like they'd basically composed themselves at half time. They'd obviously had a chat with the coach and staff, and they were like, right, let's just play our game, now daft. And other than, I think, the one that Patterson had to save them already winning 3-1, I can't remember them really breaching the back line second half. So you can't really give them much more praise than that. And Triantis braves out for the goal, really good by Hume getting the header over, but he hoys himself at it. And to me, why are people obsessed about giving their own goals correctly? If somebody hoys them, like, nobody wants their own goal, so why not just give it to Triantis? Like, maybe I sound like a proper Yadar here, but if the opposition player doesn't want an own goal next to the name, just give it to the person who's created that goal. It's clear as day. But yeah, I thought both of them did really well. considering the circumstances. I think Sealed just looks an absolute animal. He's huge. And Shantis, once he was more relaxed, second half he played some great balls out. And what I did notice is he was very intelligent as well. So when we got countered, Hume was in the middle and he just slotted in straight at left back. That's just like little bits of intelligence, like he knew his positional sense where to go. And today he'll do them both a world of good. And it also means now that Ballard's safe, but I think O'Nien, I think he's got some real competition from Seal because he's a right-sided centre half who can play, but he's also an absolute unit and he's quick. So got genuine competition there, and the succession plan and whatever happens with any individual, we know we've got strength and depth in that area now, and Sealed especially. And Triantis, okay, I don't think he's going to probably start many more games when everyone's fit, but he's proved that there's talent there, and that's why we bought him. Of course, he's the younger of the two, I'm sure, and he's got a lot to learn. I think he's got to be a bit more bulking up, maybe. But again, he was a talent, and second half they were both really good for me.
Yeah, I actually was really impressed with Seal. I thought like I'd heard that he was a bit slow, and when I'd seen him, I was like, he's massive. But I thought he was like dead composed. They're actually both the same age, by the way. I don't know if there's like a year between them, but I've just checked there. They're both 20 each. But I think one came from PSV, one came from Australia. And no offense to the Australian League, PSV's a bit of a different beast, even if it is at the youth team level. But I was really, really impressed with Seal today. But I want to stick with you, Ross, on one thing as well. One person who would waited ages to see, and I think it's kind of got to a point where we were like, is this one going to score? And kind of were like, we'd settled on that Roosson was probably going to be the one, and would all kind of like dampened our expectations with Mayenda. And then he came on today and he actually looked really good. And I was like, hang on, like, am I seeing this with like two like shiny tinted glasses, rose tinted glasses, sorry, or does he look that good? He looks good, doesn't he?
He was an absolute handful, wasn't he? Like Sanderson had a real problem with him, and like we know Sanderson's a solid championship defender, and for that 25 minutes, he had absolute nightmares. He was getting spun left, right, and centre. But what I was so impressed about him is he was very direct. His link-up play was good, but he was so physical. Like for a young lad, how old is he? 19? 18, 19?
18, I
And
think.
he was bullying like your big championship. Like Sanderson's a big lad, and he bullied him. And he at one point Sanderson just had to grab him and just hoy him to the ground. Like I was really impressed. It was his strike that Ruddy saved with his face.
Yeah, have you seen them? Have you seen the mark on John Ruddy's face?
Bloody hell! I bet you that would really like a cool day like a day that would sting like an absolute bitch, wouldn't it? But like again, he just looked really good, and I thought like every forward player that came on today looked good. Like even Burstow, like coming on the left hand side, we've been getting Burstow all wrong. He's not a centre forward; he's a fucking winger. He was brilliant when he came on the left wing.
I'm pleased you mentioned Burstow because he did well when he came on, and like that chance he had at the end was unlucky. Like gets on target
really
and stuff like that. And then there's also that chance when he came in. Also, like if Mayenda does end up being good and he made a good impression today, I think a lot of people went, oh, hang on a minute. If we do not use the tune, Ebenezer good, but and just use Elisa good, then we're missing a trick. I've put it there for you lads. You can use it. Feel free to have it. But yeah, on a serious note, Mayenda looked really impressive for the really short camera that I had on for me.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think he should have came on when Russian came off because, again, I mentioned it earlier, that sub really did baffle me and everyone around us. And I do actually think for like 10, 15 minutes before he came on, we lost our way a bit because we lost our focal point. And Jobe's not a centre forward. You know what I mean? Like he's good, but he's not a centre forward. He's all right as a stopgap. But yeah, like I say, we've got two strikers in Russian and Mayenda who have showed great promise and was so unlucky not to score today. So that's a really good sign going forward as they get fitter, they get better in the intuition with the rest of the players on the pitch, and they get more minutes. And I just feel like it's a matter of time before they keep performing at that level that the goals will come. And yeah, I was just really pleased for them today. It felt like whenever we had Mayenda or Russian on the pitch, it felt different to the past year where we actually look like we have a striker on the pitch and we played like we had a striker on the pitch. And that's the biggest compliment I can give them at the minute for, what we've been through with no strikers for the past year.
I think, honestly, there's so many positives, and we're already quite deep into the podcast. I'm thinking I haven't got time to mention all these, so be quick. But I thought Niall Huggins was outstanding. I mean, Jack Clark, he's Premier League quality. Whether that's with us or not, I don't know. I hate thinking about not having Jack Clark, but the boy's absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely nectar, but not Triantis. But he's like, I don't know what to say about Jack Clark. I just think he's great. But I thought Hume, brilliant at left back, brilliant at centre mid when he moves into that position, brilliant at right back, brilliant at centre half and a back four or back three. Huggins, excellent. I thought Reeson was brilliant today. I thought he really deserves his chance. There's really very few things that I can pick out negative, but I have found one. I'll stick with you on this one, Ross, because I want to give the next one to you, Dave, before going to listeners' questions. But the negative that I found today, Ross, what the bloody hell was Pierre Ekwa on today? Like, he was absolutely rotten.
Oh, bless him.
Terrible.
He just had a stinker, didn't he? Like, just one of them days, bless him. Everything he touched just went to shit.
It was awful, man. There was one point when he pinged a 40-yard ball 40 yards in front of Jack Clark, and Jack Clark just looked at him like, are you being serious?
Yeah, like it was too ponderous on the ball. He was getting caught out. He wasn't alone in that. I think Neil was quite capable in that a few times.
Yeah.
But I think Ekwa's passing today left a lot to be desired. Again, to me, obviously there's the next phase of play, but him losing the ball in front of the back four a few times really put us under pressure. But yeah, unfortunately, again, he's maybe because his standard's been so high lately that when he does have an off game, it's obviously it stands out like a sore thumb, given how impressive he has been, and he's still a young lad. You know, this is why we give these lads these opportunities here, and I think we do understand that we're going to get games like that as they mature on the pitch. And obviously he had a stinker all game, right? But what I loved about Ekwa is he never hid. He wanted the ball every time, and he never cowered. You know, we've had plenty of midfielders over the years who we know have had stinkers. They know they've had stinkers, and they hide behind the defenders, they hide behind the opposition. They don't want the ball. The crowd, you know, are on the back, and they just don't. Showed a lot of balls today because he never hid. He always got stuck in, and yeah. Also, though, he doesn't. I'm so glad to see that they took him away from the short corner in the second half. After I bigged him up the other week, how many goals he'd score from the edge of the box, to see him being on the short corner broke me heart a little bit. Like, get him on the edge of the box, please.
Funny though, Ekwa, like today, I was just like, he's just not having one today. Like, and I love Pierre Ekwa, like a big fan. He'd be fine. It's just one of those games today. It was just one of those things when that went right. But there was still a part of me that when he was on the edge of the box, I was going, shoot. And I was like, why am I doing it? Like, don't shoot. But I still kept doing it. It's almost since that Southampton game just broke us all. And we all want him to shoot. But quick one before we go into listeners' questions, Dave. French Dave, Aushish, impresses every time I see him. And scored today. I think he has a big future, Dave. But how important is it that he got his first goal today, so he's off the mark?
Yeah, exactly. For the criticism of Grandad Tony at times, I think he is the perfect man in this type of scenario, bringing them in at the right times, and it's scary. I didn't catch the bits of my end of the day, but the players that we've got, I mean, we've got the fullback to come back as well, Pimbelia. Excuse the pronunciation if I'm wrong. The depth and the talent, if we nurture it right, is scary. And I agree. Every time I've seen him anywhere across the front four, realistically, I think he can do a job. I think he's direct. I think he's gonna excite And yeah, I'm glad he got his goal. That'll settle him down. And it was nice to see the desire to get on the end of the cross, and the fact that he's called French Dave. I'm all over it. He's obviously a legend, isn't he?
I'm too tired. No, again, I've had too much Jack Daniels to be doing this, to be completely honest. I said before, Rusyn deserved a chance. I meant he deserved his goal to go in. Just got me words wrong. It happens. I'm not editing it. Can't be bothered. Listeners' questions, Ross. We've got 6 minutes now. We've discussed most of them, to be honest. But one I do want to bring up from John is Serkin's fitness a worry. Can I be honest? I was doing my nut a bit today when I found out he was injured, because like, how many times is he going to get injured?
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems it's his hamstring as well. So, but in fairness, Huggins hasn't put a foot wrong since he's had a good run in the team. Unless he's coming back, who showed last season before he was rushed back stupidly twice, in my opinion, that he was more than capable to play that left back position, and he looked really good. So, yeah, let's be honest, Serkin, when he plays and gets run of games, is brilliant. But the reason Tottenham got rid of him, and the reason he's probably still here, is because he can't get a run of games. Like, unfortunately, it is what it is. It's a shame for the lad, but yeah, unfortunately, it just seems like he's going to be one of them players. But then again, last season, we said the same about Huggins, and now look at Huggins, he's playing week in, week out, and he's having a good run, so hopefully his luck does change, but it's starting to feel with Serkin that, like, yeah, he's just got a bit of the sick note about him, hasn't he?
He's a bit paper mache. And it's a shame, because I actually really rate Serkin as good as Huggins and Hume have been when they've played at left back. When he's absent, for me, Serkin's one of the first names on the team sheet when he's fit. So, yeah, you know what? I hope he does, but it's frustrating, because it's his thigh, it's his hamstring, it's just always something, and it worries me a little bit, because he's still a young kid, and he's no longer a player that is in his first season. But hopefully, you know, he's fit, because he's a massive asset and he's a great player. So I hope he's fit fairly soon. Dave, I'll give you the next one. There's a lot of people asking the same question here. We touched on it a bit last week about 09 giving the penalty away, and they've been a bit off form recently. Do any of those centre halves play next week in place of 09 alongside Ballard? Because I think Ballard comes back in no matter how well the two lads play today, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Ballard's your first choice out of everything, and the standout, to be honest. Would I have a problem personally if Sealed played instead of 09? I probably wouldn't, to be honest. But we also know how big of a fan Tony Mowbray is, and the style of play that we try to implement. I think you'll probably put them both straight back in, but I also thought we play a back three today, so I'm probably talking absolutely shite, and that's that. But I think Silt is now probably put himself a lot closer to the first team than he was before today. And that's all you can ask from your squad, isn't it? When something goes awry and something goes wrong, step up to the plate, give the manager a headache. I think he's done that perfectly well, to be honest. Both of them, really.
I think we said that last week. I said injuries create opportunities as well, and that's dead cheesy out, but it is true. And I certainly think I agree with what you said there. He might not start ahead of 09. Me personally, I'd start Seal ahead of 09 if I'm honest with you. But if he doesn't, he's certainly pushed himself more than we thought, and he would have done before the game. Quick one of listeners' questions. A few people asked the same thing again. We've got 2 minutes left here, Ross. I thought we'd got the whole episode without discussing the referee, but here we go. How did Juninho Bacuna not get sent off?
That referee was a fucking tit, wasn't he?
Shite again.
It doesn't matter what we do now. We might as well just have one section a week where we have a 2-minute talk about how shit the referee is and how inconsistent it was. Patrick Roberts got kicked to bits. The latest lunge ever on him. The referee talks to Bacuna. Roberts is in that much pain that he just belts the ball off the advertising board when he gets up and then gets booked. Like, I'm sorry, like, if he's booked him for kicking the ball, he's kicked the ball back to himself for our free kick. Like, and then it was a Hume got booked.
Yeah, it was Hume. Yeah.
Yeah, the tackle beforehand from the fullback on Huggins or Roberts was exactly the same, and he didn't even speak. Oh, pissed me off. I'm sick of referees of shit.
Honestly, the
Like-
crap,
Like, just be consistent. Like, if you're going to be shit, at least be consistently shit. Just be consistent.
they are consistently shit, to be fair. Like, I don't know if anyone noticed, but Janino Bacuna kicked the ball away as well second half. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, man.
But he didn't even get a yellow card. Like,
No.
the whole game. A miracle. Absolute miracle. Must have had a backhand because he was kicking everything above grass, belting the ball away, walking away when the referee was speaking to him, and he still just didn't get booked. So I think I got to the point where I was like, they must be mates.
But we won, so it's all fine, lads, isn't it? Collectively, after 3, 2, 1, yes.
But the good thing is, we're still speaking about shit refs even when we win, just to highlight it so that we're not bitter when we get beat.
Yeah.
I just reckon the ref didn't want to put in his report because I reckon he's got one of them little accents above the N in his name or something, and he's just like, nah, I didn't fancy that one little
Don't want
bit.
to do it. Nah, can't be bothered. Lads, a big win. Brilliant. Things never changed. Sunderland play well. Could have scored more. Scored enough. Happy as Larry. Graham drinks Jack Daniels. Referees are crap. And the What the Falk podcast rolls on. Thanks for joining me.
We love you lots, Brad. Love you.
Love you, Brad.
All right, big shout out, Brad, and everyone enjoy the weekend. Another 3 points on the board in the playoffs.
Yes.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't